Smalls Comics. It's another wonderful Wednesday, which means hopefully you know the drill by now. It's another majestic new comic book day, and you could say this new comic book day is going to be absolutely fantastic because Absolute Green Arrow issue 1 releases today. You may be asking, wait, didn't we see Green Arrow be marked out in the Absolute Evil one-shot? Yes, we did. But this comic miniseries follows the life of Green Arrow shortly before he became deceased, which I'm honestly super excited for because I feel like there were a lot of unanswered questions when we saw those, 2 pages in Absolute Evil. And hopefully this single issue will help answer a lot of them. On top of that, we are getting a plethora of amazing comics also coming out this week. We have a bunch of independents like Battle Beast issue 9, which shows the battle between Conquest and Battle Beast finally, which I have been waiting for patiently for a while. Pretty much for about as long as I've been collecting Battle Beasts, I've been hoping and wishing for this brand new issue, which comes out today. So, I'm pretty hyped. I woke up pretty early. I got dressed, just so I could be prepared to catch my bus on time. But before we go to the local comic shop, I desperately need to talk about last week's single issues because they were absolutely incredible. Let's switch the camera angle. And we got the single issues. I got 3 to talk about this week, and I think all of them are equally or around the same level of peakness, but I do have to highlight one in particular because it was just really crazy. Starting it off, it's coming from the Vertigo series, and just by saying that, I think some of you guys might already know what this single issue is, and it's, of course, Bleeding Hearts issue 4 by Dennis Camp. I have been absolutely loving this series so far, and it's just been truly incredible. We are able to fully see the direction, at least I think, of where Dennis Camp is wanting to bring this single issue, and I'm just super excited to see it fully develop. And the fact that this is an ongoing, we don't have a permanent or finalized starting or end point, makes it super sick, and I'm just super excited to see what's to come from this. That may have been slightly repetitive, but that's just because I am truly excited to see where that comic goes. Same with this comic, that being Absolute Batman, specifically issue 20. Last week, we got the first appearance of the Absolute Robins. I would say introduction, but they were legit only in 3 pages of this issue, making me just super excited to see what issue 21 has to bring. And on top of that, I'm just a little bummed out by this comic compared to the other Absolute release of the week. And that other single issue release is, of course, Absolute Martian Manhunter issue 11. This was a truly unique book that had a bunch of great moments, and if you know, you know, but I might just buy a second copy of this book to cut out a little piece of it, because what happened was really unfortunate. You might already know what this book is by the back of it if you already own it, but I just wanted to talk about it because I just recently got it physically, so I am finally able to talk about it with you guys, and that is the book Daredevil Yellow by the legendary duo Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb. A lot of people have been wanting to get into Daredevil recently due to the release of the second season of the Born Again Daredevil series on Disney+, as well as the fact that Daredevil as a character has been steadily gaining popularity throughout the decade. So a lot of people want to know a place to start. A lot of people recommend the Frank Miller run, which is, it is truly incredible. It's one of the definitive starting points for a reason, but a origin story that I much prefer is the one categorized in Daredevil Yellow. It shows the origin of his suit and a lot of his philosophies, which I personally enjoy, and I think it's just a great read for the beginning of the summer. So I would pick it up if you have the chance to, because it's truly an incredible read and it matches the season right now. We are also incredibly close to hitting 100 subscribers on the YouTube account, which I would just be so incredibly thankful for. So please, if you are enjoying the video so far, please leave a like and maybe subscribe, because at 100 subscribers, I'm doing a full comic collection tour. And I think I have a pretty big collection so far, so I think it's going to be a pretty entertaining video. But without any further ado, let's quit the dilly-dallying and head to the comic shop. We are finally at the local comic shop in Boulder, Colorado. I cannot wait to get Absolute Green Lantern issue 1. I'm so excited, so let's get right into it. I had no idea this came out this week. I thought this came out in like 2 weeks in June, but apparently it comes out in May. So, I'm not actually disappointed by that at all. And of course, the legendary Absolute Green Arrow issue 1 releases today, which you already know, I already picked up. It's in my pull box. This is a crazy Doctor Strange figure, though. If you know me, you already know by now, but Doctor Strange is one of my all-time goats, so whenever I see him, it's such a novelty. And my local comic shop got this crazy Doom Quest box. It's double printed, though, so there's not, like, a connecting art piece on it or anything, which is kind of disappointing. And just like that, we got all of our active pulls from the local comic shop. I did get a complete stack of comics today, if you could not tell, but I think you already know what else I got. My comic shop was giving away their Superman Spider-Man promo poster, so I had a cop. I have no idea why they'd just give something so cool away, but I'm the one reaping the benefits. And just like that, we are back from the comic shop. It feels like every time I go to the comic shop nowadays, I come back with a poster, which I'm honestly not complaining. I am just losing space to put all of these posters. So I am kind of concerned. Let me know if you have any ideas of where I should put this. Now onto the focus of my comics, which were narrowly destroyed by the rain. If it weren't for my friend to see me sitting at the bus stop and ask if I want a ride, which got me home a lot quicker, and I missed the rain. It started pouring outside and these comics and my poster would have been destroyed. So I am very thankful for that. Disregarding the comic news, I got 9 single issues this week, so let's get right into it. Now on to the segment which I'm thinking of calling the Comic Corner, which isn't necessarily original, but I don't have any other ideas, so let me know if you have a recommendation. And I did add a couple of props in the background because at first I thought it was unprofessional, but you know what? This is a comic book account, so we're going to have a little bit of fun in every scene, and I thought these Funko Pops look great for the background, especially when I'm showing off my comics. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Starting it off with my DC single issues, of course I had to absolutely pick up Absolute Green Arrow issue 1. I've had this in my pull box for about 2 months, so just finally being able to pick it up is honestly just a sigh of relief as a feeling. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm also super excited to read this. Then also from the Absolute universe, of course, I had to get issue 15 of Absolute Flash. I've been really enjoying this arc, and there's been a lot of interesting things happening in this series, you know, just in the later half of the series so far, which I do think is a little bit strange, but I'm not complaining that the series is getting better. I just wish it was more consistent. Then a part of the Next Level initiative, of course, I had to pick up Batwoman issue 3. I've been really enjoying the detective segments in this series, which I think is kind of the point of this book. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think the point of the book is to illustrate how well of, you know, the detective work that Batwoman does is, which I think is actually a really cool theme. And finally, we got Lobo issue 3, which is also part of the Next Level initiative. I was kind of misguided by the direction of this series with the first 2 issues, but now I'm kind of starting to see what is going on, and I am super excited. I also just love the art. Scotty Young does such incredible cover artwork, and I just love picking it up every month. Next, getting into Independence. I did not know this was releasing today. I thought this released in June, but no, it came out this week. It is Of the Earth issue 1. It looks super interesting. I saw it on Comic Geeks, and it was just this woman, what appears to be a woman with a gun in front of an oil mill, which is a super, super cool comic cover and is a great way to entice me into reading your comic. Next, we got Narco issue 3. As you guys may know, my boyfriend is actively reading this series, and that's who I pick it up for. But, you know, before I give it to him, I read it. The cover has been having a lot of motifs with the Pop-Tart, which is kind of interesting. And this series just defied all of my expectations. It's really fun, it's really enjoyable, and I really do love Narco. And for the finale of the independent titles, I got Battle Beast, part of the Invincible universe. Of course, issue 9, which is the battle between Battle Beast and Conquest, who is this figure appearing in the corner right there, and I'm just so excited to read this. I've been waiting for so long just to finally have this release. Pretty much since issue 7, I've been waiting for this issue, which is only, you know, 3 months, but, you know, that's still a long time to wait, I feel. Then getting into Marvel, of course, I had to pick up The Punisher issue 4. I've been really enjoying this whole arc with him trying to figure out, you know, what happened to him, and I'm super excited to see where Frank Castle's story goes from here, especially nearing the end of the arc. And finally, for the comics of this week, I had to pick up Jessica Jones Alias issue 3. I've been really enjoying this series, and every time that I see the comic art in my collection, I gain a little bit of serotonin. I cannot wait to read this. But now, without any further ado, let's get into the long-anticipated Absolute Green Arrow issue 1. Absolute Green Arrow was genuinely peak. I have a bunch of questions which I think are intended to be answered at a later date, later in this miniseries, which I'm super excited for. The big main question that a bunch of people are wanting to be answered is, who killed Oliver Queen? You know, we have a couple of hints on who did it in this series. On top of that, we have the further developing question of who is this Green Arrow if it is not Oliver Queen. You know, it's super interesting. I'm really excited to continue reading this story. I personally have a small prediction, and that prediction is Green Arrow is actually just Oliver Queen just, he faked his death somehow and now he's killing a bunch of people. I think that'd be super cool. But let me know what you think. But I still have a bunch of comics that I need to read, which I think I'm going to do on TikTok live at the time that I release this. If you are watching this, I will be live and I am going to be reading these. So, it might be a good time, if you want to show up. This message might have no use because everyone who might watch this might watch it, 4 hours after it's released. But who cares? I think it's a cool little announcement. And without any further ado, I think I got to end the video here. I think this new comic book day was absolutely fantastic, and it was really great. I hope to see you guys in the next video that I release, and as always, peace out.